as you get older, life gets more free and more fun, but also more complicated. Here are all the ages I've been so far, not 25 quite yet, but all these other ones I've experienced and have opinions about. Void, that's where number 1 is going to go in this tier list. Genuinely don't remember anything from being that young. The same thing can go with 2 years old as well. If you're a 2-year-old watching this, I know there's no 2-year-olds watching this, but you do not have to worry about any sort of bad memories because you will not remember them. As such, 3, I believe I have like 1 or 2 memories. I don't remember having any responsibility, quite obviously, but there's really not much I can say about this. The memory that I have was about school and recess, so that was a pretty fun memory for me, and I'll put it in B tier because of that. A lot can be said about 4 that I just said about 3 personally. For me, this is when I started kindergarten, I believe, and had a pretty decent year there, but there's not much going on, really. It's a repetitive year for you, and thus I'm going to put it in B tier. 0 is where Void is going to go as well. No idea what was going on with me when I was my first year of existence. Number 5, that's first grade. I have a couple of more memories, but it's going to go in B tier as well with you don't have many responsibilities, but you also don't have much going on other than school. I don't think I even started athletics until several years after this. So for me, I'm going to put it B tier. I'm getting a bit repetitive in what I'm saying with the young ages here, but there's a reason. 6 is more of the same thing. Second grade is what I want to say, and I went to the same school first and second grade, had a pretty fun experience. I have a couple of bad memories, but a couple of good ones as well. I remember recess still being around at this age, and that was a blast, and that is why it's going to go B tier. 7, we're getting into more memories for me personally. I remember my 7th birthday pretty vividly, and it was a good day. Thus, it's going to go A tier, and I think if you're 7, then you're in a good spot of having no real responsibilities for what's going on, but also remembering everything, or most really eventful things that are going to happen. More or less the same thing with 8 years old. You know, if you're talking about sports that are contact sports, this is when you start to see people join into them more often. Obviously, you could play non-contact sports at a younger age than this, but for me, it's fun. You're getting towards the end of elementary school, but at the same time, there's not really any responsibilities that you have other than school and maybe athletics. So for me, it's going to go A tier. 9 years old, that was when I was in 4th grade. 4th grade was interesting. I wanted to be in 5th grade really bad at the time, but this is when I started really playing sports, and so I have a lot more memories of this year. It's fun, but not much going on, really, and for those reasons, I'm going to put it in A tier. 10 years old is our first S of the tier list. For me, I have a couple of great memories with my family as well as in athletics. We were the Super Bowl champions when I was playing football back then, and this year for me. And so I do remember many of the memories from that season, and it was great. It's going to go S tier. 11, though, this is where we start taking a dip. In my opinion, you're now really firmly into middle school years, and middle school, there's no surprise that it's not very fun. Truthfully, I didn't enjoy my time of what I was doing with my body in terms of like growing much then. This is when most people were going through puberty and have growth spurts as well. 11 was 6th grade and probably my least favorite, truthfully, out of all of them. So I'm going to put it F tier. Not the best for me personally. Middle school is not that fun. As such, I think 12 years old was a little bit better for me. I got back into athletics, but I did go to a different school for middle school. So that first year was a lot of adjusting socially. But for me, I think 12 years old definitely took an upturn, and I'm going to put it in D tier because of that reason. I'm going to put 13 was actually a good year for me. 8th grade was by far my favorite in middle school, and I gained more freedom. I felt like with my family, I was able to do a little bit more. You're obviously going to be involved with something in school at this point, whether it's athletics or a club, and most people would probably agree with me in saying that 13 is really when you start becoming into your own in terms of your personality for who you're going to be for the rest of your life. 14, you are a freshman in high school. This can't go any higher than B tier. It's got to at least be C, D, or F. Hopefully you went to a similar high school as middle school, or else you're not going to have many friends moving to a different one. I did not have much of an overlap between my middle school and high school and the people going there. So again, similar to when I was 11, there was a lot of adjustments. I went to a big high school and was in athletics. I mean, that's the trend that you've been able to probably tell. So I had a couple of friends, but still needed to really understand what was going on and didn't. And it took a while, so I'll put it 14 into D for me. 15, sophomore in high school. I'll put it C tier for me personally. This is when you're allowed to get your permit. If you're watching this video and you take nothing else away from this, if you are a teenager in America, get your driver's license as soon as possible. Even if you don't have a car, even if you don't want to drive, you should do it ASAP, as that is going to give you the most amount of freedom. But I did not. I waited for an extra year, and I do regret that. So for me, I'm going to put it C tier. 15, I had some good friends there in that year, some good memories as well, but I was pretty far away from who I am now, truthfully. 16, this is a really, really impactful year in your future. Obviously, most people start driving. I'm going to put it in B tier, as it's a lot of pressure for school, with athletics being, your junior year in high school is probably the most evaluated in what colleges think of you. Not everybody, though. Of course, you can have a great senior season and go on to, play collegiate sports, but your junior year is really, really important, similar to sophomore year. But you do have more freedom than ever now being able to drive, but you also have more pressure of performing in school, academics, and in athletics. So I'm going to put it B tier. It's good, but it's not great. However, 17, this is an interesting year for me. I'm going to put it S tier. Senior year of high school was fantastic for me personally. I really enjoyed a lot of the activities that we had planned throughout the year, and it felt like a special time to be at my school. Hopefully, many people who were seniors felt this same way. I also enjoyed our graduation. The ceremony was very cool. For all those reasons, I think 17 is a great year of life, and I'm going to put it in S tier. Then we're at 18. 18 is going to go into B tier for me personally, or A tier rather, for me personally. This is your first year outside of traditional schooling in America here, and thus so many people go on to do so many different things. This is an age where nobody's experience truly looks the same. Everybody tends to go further away from where they grew up at this age as well. Some people go out and move out on their own. Some people will start working. Some people go to the military. Some people are in school. There's so many different things that you can do at this age. If you like what you're doing, it's going to be great. And that's why I'm going to put it A tier. 19. You also have a lot more freedoms at 18. You're officially an adult, and a lot of things that you couldn't buy are available to you now. So I'll leave it at that. For me, I'm going to put it in A tier. And then 19, probably just a bit worse than 18, truthfully. A lot of the exact same things can be said about 18 and 19, but I'm going to put it B tier. I think it's fine. I don't think it's my favorite year, though, or one of my favorites since I've been walking here around on Earth. Number 20. 20, I'm going to put 20 either B or C. You're so close to 21, but you're not there yet, and that's irritating. There's not really anything you get new from being 20 to 19 or 18, and you are getting older, realizing that you've kind of got to start figuring out what you want to do with your life if you haven't already. This is when I picked my major in college, and probably many people experienced the same thing. So I'm going to put it C tier. It easily could go into B, but because of how close you are to truly the last really, really fun new year of experiences, 21 years old. There's not even the number for this picture. It just has drinks on it, and that's how I know it's 21. It's fun. Once you're at this age, you truly feel like a working class, societal, functioning adult that can do whatever that they would want to do, basically. It's fun, for sure, and for me, it's going to go into S tier. 22, you're going to be finishing up college. That's when I was finishing up with university. You are going to have to make a decision on what jobs you want to start working, and for some people, that's easier than others. For me, it was an easier decision of knowing what I wanted to start out doing from school, but it was a lot of pressure kind of getting to that point. I'm going to put it into A tier. You are fully fledged adult, out probably on their own, probably making a decision about what you want your career to look like. It's great because of the freedoms that you have, but you also are getting a lot more of those responsibilities that I talked about in the beginning of the video. 23, very similar to 22. I'll put them right next to each other. Essentially the same thing. I mean, not much difference between 23 and 22. You're early in your career, whatever you're doing for the most part. You're not going to be at the top of your game or at the top of your industry, all the while still having all of those responsibilities starting to pile up more and more. Obviously, some people have more than others, but you're definitely going to be paying for stuff at this point. And it's unfortunate having to keep track of all of those things. I'll put it in A tier. Lastly, we are at my current age. We have arrived to 24. I'm only 24 for a few more months here, but this year's been really fun overall. Getting closer to 25 has me reflecting more and more on my experiences that I've had as an adult. I think 24 is probably going to be B tier, as you don't really get many new things added to your life experience from 22 and 23. However, you just get more responsibilities financially, emotionally, physically added to your life at this age. So I'm going to put 24 into B tier. It's a good year, but it's not one that I can say was out and out my favorite personally. The year is not over though, and I've got a lot of really, really exciting activities going on the next few months, which you will see videos about. And so it could definitely go higher and probably will. But for now, I'm going to put 24 into B tier. This is my list of the ages that anybody under 25 has experienced watching this video so far. What are your thoughts? How would you change around my list, and where do you think I was incorrect? What tier do you think your current age belongs in? And if you're still watching to this point in the video, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Like the video, subscribe as well, and check out many of the other tier lists that I have on my channel about pop culture, movies, and really life. Thank you again if you're still watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.